Here we are at the end of the 2 p.m. turn, and there was a lot of fighting this turn. Gameplay is really starting to slow down as we have to launch a series of assaults. There's a lot of fire combat throughout, a lot of retreating and disorder, a lot of cavalry charges over on the left. So we'll start over here where both the French light and heavy cavalry finally became involved in large numbers. They began by identifying some disordered Dutch Belgians in that line, really in the centre here, and the light cavalry led the way, testing those Dutch Belgian positions. The British light cavalry in the area responded. These are light dragoons. They responded and I guess played their hand, and then the heavy cavalry came in afterwards and cleaned up the area. They punched a big hole in the centre of the lines there, eliminated a number of those Royal Horse artillery units, which were kind of out in the flank and a bit exposed, particularly after they punched the hole through the Dutch Belgians. So there was a lot of fighting around here. You can see the gap here between what were once some solid Dutch Belgian squares. The heavy cavalry, the French heavy cavalry, finally making an impact out in this left flank here. And that light cavalry there was a bit too late to respond. They had a late activation in the turn. Shifting further to the right, Jerome's division hit the guards again, and they charged the King's German Legion units along the left here with mixed success. You can see disorder there. One of Jerome's units routed from the far left. The Allies sent in some reinforcements. Basically what's happening here is Foy is pushing straight through Hougoumont. You can see it's still occupied by these light companies. The British Guards still hold the orchard on the right, but Foy has opened up a small gap and he's pushing in and around the flanks, isolating a lot of those Guards units here and continuing to push through. It's very hard to... There was another assault on the main complex of Hougoumont here. It's very hard to grind it down, so they're just pushing through and into the fields beyond. Helped on the right through Bachelet's division, who is also getting some good success in their assaults. And Lebeau had a bit of difficulty. Lebeau is supporting this right flank here, but you can see this unit here is some of the Allied light cavalry who charged his line. They couldn't stop their pursuit. They did eliminate, they forced the rout of one of Lebeau's units, but they couldn't stop their pursuit, and they found themselves in the middle of all of that artillery. Shifting further to the right, the French have finally secured La Haie Sainte. A series of very good rolls. The Nassauers failed to stand in a number of their rolls, and so you can see the Allies have pulled back to new defensive lines along those heights there. So the French attack here going pretty well, but again, I point out the Allied defences in depth behind that hill. Further to the right, more French success against the Dutch Belgians, in terms of mainly of casualties, causing a lot of casualties along that line. Gaining a little bit of ground, I think, to the left here. And again, more French reinforcements have moved up to the line. Wellington, I'll point this out, he's over here. He keeps shifting left and right, unsure of where to go. The French are hitting both the left and the right sides of his line at the same time, and it's hard for him to coordinate any units. He's sending out some of his aides to camp out here, another one on the left here. He's trying to rush to respond to both these situations as they're developing. And Erlon continuing to push up on the right there. This is really a good opportunity for the French. If they can hit that far eastern side of the Allied line, there might be something happening. Behind the lines, you can see all the Allied routed units. The light cavalry has recovered. And again, more Prussian reinforcements arriving, this time the first of that Prussian infantry out in the far east. What, again, you don't see under all these counters is the heavy casualties that have been sustained in Ray's corps. A lot of these men are very weak. Having said that, because the guards only start with 5 increments, there are a number of eliminated guards units. And at the end of this hour, we'll have to check their morale levels, but you can see the gaps that have been created around Hougoumont by the loss of those units. So that's in the turn. Again, it's taking a long time now because of all these assaults. A lot of movement. It's becoming very crammed in just behind the Haie Sainte there. Hard to move these units around. It may be time to do something with these Brunswickers. This is about the 3rd hour of the battle.